You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report, episode 148.3, results and highlights from Tuesday's girls basketball games in Blackford, Delaware, Howard, Madison, Tipton, and northern Hamilton counties, with a recap of a thriller between Mississinewa Marion from the Marion Chronicle Scott Hunt, and a conversation with Sheridan head coach Jaidlin Bradshaw.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you've chosen to listen to the Central Indiana Sports Report, we hope we meet your expectations. Today is January 15th, 2025. It's a Wednesday, so it's another day for the Central Indiana Sports Report. I'm your host, Greg Mengelt, and I love Central Indiana sports. Coming to you today from Madison Grant High School, producer Susie is in the control room at headquarters in Jeffersonville. There were 9 girls' basketball games on Tuesdays, and we have details of all 9, including the Delaware County first round, Sheridan's big win over LaPel, Mississinewa's buzzer beater at Bill Green Arena, Western clinching the Hoosier Conference East Division, and Elwood's 11th win of the season. Scott Hunt of the Marion Chronicle called to talk about the Mississinewa Marion thriller, and we heard from Sheridan head coach Jaidlin Bradshaw after her Blackhawks beat sectional rival LaPel. We start, as we always do, with Tuesday's scores. Sheridan won its 13th consecutive game by beating LaPel 57-41 in Sheridan. Western clinched the Hoosier Conference East Division with a 56-55 win over Hamilton Heights. Mississinewa defeated rival Marion 43-42 in overtime on Ashlyn Baker's putback at the buzzer. Jelena Harris scored 27 points to lead Taylor to a 47-41 win over Madison Grant. Elwood beat Burris 47-34 for the Panthers' 11th win of the season. Harrison snapped Kokomo's 3-game winning streak with a 51-46 victory, and Greenfield Central beat Anderson 78-38. Delta and Daleville easily advanced to the semifinal round of the Delaware County Tournament. Delta beat winless Westdale 92-9, and Daleville ran past Cowan 55-26. Setting up Friday's semifinals between Delta and Yorktown, Thursday at 6, and Daleville versus Wapahani at 7:30. The 4 teams are a combined 48-16. Some other scores just outside of our coverage area. Carmel beat Columbus North 59-50. New Pal got by Triton Central 47-29. It was Shelbyville 46, Rushville 42. 2A number 11 Eastern Hancock is 16-2 after a 55-44 win over Newcastle. 2A number 5 Northeastern got past Class A number 8 Tri 52-46. Central Catholic won its 14th game, 67-27 over rival West Lafayette. Jennifer Jacoby's Rossville Hornets blew past Frankfort 59-17, and it was Richmond 58, Connorsville 43. Tipton versus Cass was postponed. We have no makeup date as of this recording. Before we get to the highlights of each game, please go right now and like, subscribe, or follow us on SoundCloud, Spotify, Amazon, Apple, or YouTube so you don't miss a single segment. That would be very helpful to us. Sheridan won its 13th straight game. This one was maybe the biggest of the 13, 57-41 over sectional rival LaPel. Sheridan is now 15-2 on the season. They had 15 assists on 24 baskets and shot 52% from the field. Senior Kinsey Garner had 27 points. She was 11 for 18 from the field and 3 for 5 from behind the three-point arc. She also had 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 block shots. Senior Cecilia Timmy finished with 15 points. She was 7 of 11 from the field with 4 assists, 3 rebounds, and 2 steals. Sophomore Sadie Timmy had 5 steals. Sophomore Brielle Garner had 6 points. She was 2 for 6 from deep. The Blackhawks host 5-10 Speedway on Thursday. I spoke with Sheridan head coach Jaidlin Bradshaw after the Blackhawks victory.
definitely happy to get that one in. And I think it's good just as we move forward to prepare for sectionals. It's nice to get it in. It's nice to be able to play them and kind of see them in person. Obviously, we watch a ton of film, but to see them play in person is a totally different speed. So we're definitely happy to get the win and happy to get the game in.
Looks like you got off to a really good start. What was the key to that?
Honestly, just being able to the girls really buckled down and hit shots there at the beginning. That's huge for us when we can do that, and when we can't do it, it's really bad for us. So we're definitely happy to start a game like tonight strong like that.
You talked about how well the team played as a team, but it looks like you also had a couple of really good individual performances as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Kinsey with 27 and 9, and then Cecilia with 15 points and a couple of rebounds, I think 4 or 5 assists as well. That's huge for us. They finished really well at the rim. They did a good job of finishing with some pretty long arms in their face and defending them because lapel's pretty long. So we're really proud of their effort, proud of their focus, and just their ability to do their job and do what we asked them tonight for sure.
Containing Lanaya Wills, that's not an easy thing to do. How did you guys do that?
No, she's an absolutely amazing athlete and an amazing basketball player. We just asked Cecilia Timmy to just kind of step up, and that was her job. And it was just a bonus that she also scored 15 points and dished
Wow.
out some assists and grabbed some rebounds. But not only Cecilia, no, we had Shelby Eaton that stepped up and guarded her some, Kinsey Gardner some, Max Smith guarded her some. They all did an outstanding job. And then our guards really understood what their role was and who they could help off of and who they couldn't help off of, and had to make some in-game adjustments. But they really stuck to the game plan and did really what we asked them to do.
Well, coach, in high school basketball, when you play a team a second time, which you'll likely do against Sheridan or against Lapel down
Sure.
in the sectional, it rarely goes the same as it does the first time. What did they do that concerns you for a rematch?
Yeah, so we know we didn't see their press, which they've ran throughout the season. We didn't see any of their zone defense. So we know kind of to look for that the next time that we play them, and then just make sure that we're ready for that, ready for them to also play all man in case that's what they decide to do. Um so yeah, just making sure that we're focused and that we're keeping track of, what they're doing in this last 3 weeks, I guess it is, of um, regular season play, and just keeping the girls as prepared and as locked in and as focused as possible.
All right, coach, 6 games left in the regular season. Besides winning the conference championship, what do you want to see from your team down the stretch here?
We just want to see them have a little fun, play together, play hard, and just really continue doing their jobs. They're so bought in, trying to keep them healthy and locked in and focused. Our 5 seniors do a great job of making sure that we do that. So we want them to have a little fun on the way. It was senior night Thursday, so we're excited for that.
Lapel came in having won 8 of its last 9 and is now 12 and 7 on the season. Junior Lanaya Wills had 18 points, senior Taylor Moreau's 12. The Bulldogs host 10 and 6 Shenandoah on Friday. Western clinched the East Division of the Hoosier Conference with a 56-55 home win over Hamilton Heights. The Panthers have won 5 games in a row on the heels of a 9-game losing streak. Incredible turnaround. Sophomore Ella Rawlings, 14 points and 4 rebounds. Junior Elise Walden had 12 points and 8 rebounds. Senior Rihanna Bowman, 8 points and 4 rebounds. And freshman Ella Kroom finished with 8 points. The Panthers host 9 and 6 Mechaniqua on Thursday. Hamilton Heights is now 4 and 14. They go to 2 and 15 Tipton on Saturday afternoon. Mississinewa beat host Marion 43-42 in overtime as sophomore Ashlyn Baker put back a miss at the buzzer for the win. The Indians were led by 20 points and 6 rebounds from senior J.C. Crick. Junior Charlie Ballage had 10 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals. And Baker finished with 10 points. Her last 2, of course, the big ones. Mississinewa goes to 2 and 7 Blackford for a CIC game Friday. Marion is now 8 and 11 on the season. Freshman Naomi Hahn continued her incredible initial varsity season with 23 points. Senior Shania Scott scored 9. Freshman Jaylee Townsend 7. Marion host 4 and 13 Fort Wayne Southside on Saturday afternoon. Scott Hunt covered the game for the Marion Chronicle, and I spoke with him following the contest. Scott, we don't get to cover a ton of basketball games where we don't know the winner until the ball is in the air as the buzzer sounds, but that's what we had tonight.
Yeah, that was a great. It was a great competitive game between Marion and Mississinewa, and that's kind of something that I've come to expect from those two. I mean, you're talking to schools that are miles apart, and um, you know, Mississinewa's kind of had the upper hand for the last few years. But Marion's a lot different team this year, and yeah, it was a fun game to watch, and trying to look. I don't think through 4 quarters and overtime, uh, the biggest separation was 4 points the whole night, and that was
Wow.
take that back. It was five. Marion led,
Still.
Miss Sunwell led 8-3 in the first
Wow.
quarter, and it was 10-10 after the first quarter, 18-18 at halftime, 30-29 after three, and 40 apiece going in through 4 quarters.
And then it took an offensive rebound put back to decide it. Man,
Yeah,
those are two even teams, aren't they?
yeah, and that's they're two sectional. They're both in the same sectional too. Kind of talked to a couple people after the game where um, if you're married in Mississinewa, you kind of hope you can draw one another right off the bat. I would think, and have the big dogs in that sectional. I think it's sectional 23. It's going to be at Norwell. Norwell and Belmont are obviously they're I think they've only got 3 losses between them right now. So you kind of hope those two draw each other. They're neighbors and rivals too. So, um, but yeah, it was a fun game. J.C. Crick had 26, Mississippi Walls
Ooh.
43. Freshman Naomi Hahn had 23, and Marion's 42. And just a good hard fought game.
But
A
Ashlyn
lot,
Baker had the last laugh, didn't she?
yeah, yeah, and she had some moments tonight. She had 2 points at halftime, then scored five in the third quarter. Had a couple really nice strong moves to the bucket in the third quarter. Well, it's got one good strong move, and then knocked down a three in the third quarter. Honestly, I'm sorry I haven't done all my final stats for the game yet, but yeah, she's just a sophomore, and she's a talented young lady, and it just seems to be gaining confidence as the season has gone along.
Let's talk a little bit about this Marion team. I think they're led by, well, two very good freshmen and another one who's a great athlete. Every win this year is just kind of a bonus, isn't it?
Um, yeah, yeah, I think so. I went to they hosted Richmond Friday night, which I couldn't believe the weather that we saw Friday that Richmond made that trek up here.
Oof.
And it's a pretty good Richmond team, long and athletic, and got a couple pretty good guards, and kind of that was the Giants' signature win for the season so far. That was another just a close game throughout, and then fourth quarter, Marion, I think it was a 12-2 run to close the game, and they ended up beating Richmond by 10. And um, it's just first year coach Renika Drake has done a great job with this group of girls. You can just tell that there's some accountability going on. Actually talked to one of the assistants tonight. There was an issue on the bench. I'm not going to mention which girl he said it was, but uh, it was a player that is in the starting five, and in the they didn't go too deep tonight. They only went six deep tonight, and set her down because she was not taking coaching well, and that's the thing I think Ronika has done so well. Obviously, she's got these girls playing pretty good basketball, but she's trying to establish a culture of accountability, and you talk to any championship level program, coaches of championship level programs, that culture is as important as any of the X's and O's. And that's kind of something that's been lacking the last 4 or 5 years at Marion. Um, and then it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't hurt to have two just standout freshmen. Naomi Hans is as good of a freshman as I've seen at Marion since Rashea Kyle. She really reminds me of a young lady named Jasmine Turner who was on a semi-state team her senior year when Kyle was a junior. Jazz was she was kind of a 4-year player. She was long and athletic, and Jazz worked her tail off to become a uh, Division One basketball player. Naomi Hahn right now is leaps and bounds ahead of skill wise and just understanding how to play. She's leaps and bounds ahead of where Jasmine Turner was as a freshman, and
Wow.
it's exciting for the future of the Giants to see hopefully to see the development of her, and then of Jaylee Townsend. She's a 5'9" freshman that is kind of a more of a physical type player. She can go inside, outside. Nahan can too, but Jaylee's they both can handle the ball. That's the one thing folks I've talked to. Marion has a couple pretty good classes in the hallway as 7th and 8th graders, and
Uh-oh.
if they can get a couple of guards to develop out of these 7th and 8th grade classes,
Yeah.
Giants are going to be hell on wheels for
Yes,
the
they
next
are.
2 or 3 years.
And Jamie Hardwick as a freshman is going to be a good one too. I mean, it's not like
Yeah,
they're the only two.
yeah. Jamie's been splitting time.
Right.
She's seeing more JV time right now. She's kind of feeling away. Jamie's maybe she is one of the best soccer players at Marion
Right.
right now, and I kind of think that's where her true passion lies. But yeah, she's an athletic girl, probably what 5'6", 5'7",
Mm-hmm.
got some guard skills. Really haven't seen her shoot a whole lot, but she's a good defender and a
Very good
fair ball
athlete.
handler. Can bring a lot of. She brings more athleticism to the court. Um, right now, they're one of the girls that I've been super impressed with, especially the last 2 nights, is the senior Shania Scott.
Mm.
Man, she hit some big threes Friday night against Richmond, and tonight the shot was off a little bit, but she was on the floor and scrapping after loose balls, and just she did a really nice job on Richmond's leading scorer Friday night. Kind of frustrated her and got her in foul trouble, and ultimately I think that's really hurt the Red Devils in the ball game. But um, another senior, Malaya Gamble, has been solid defensively. She can knock down threes, and um, this is a good Giants team. They can't be taken lightly by anybody.
No.
They're it'll be tough. It'll be tough to come sectional time. Obviously, with Mississinewa felt like Mississinewa, and Mississinewa is a little more experienced. J.C. Crick 4-year player.
Mm-hmm.
They got some more seniors that have been in the program and a big part of the varsity team for. I felt like they really kind of started the game with a little more edge than Marion did, but once Marion figured out they were going to be in a fight, then it was a fight, and it was a fun ball game to watch.
Big win for the Indians, big future for the Giants. Thank you so much, Scott, for your time. Elwood won its 11th game of the season, 47-34 over Burris on Tuesday. The 11 wins is the Panthers' most since going 17-6 in 2013-14 under Mickey Hosier. The Panthers are now 11-5. They were led by Breland Norris's 23 points. Samantha Dockery and Addison Mendenhall scored 8 apiece, and freshman Addie Stout scored 6. Elwood is at 18-1 Alexandria Friday. It's the second time in 6 days that Elwood will face Alexandria, which is 18-1 on the year. Alexandria beat Elwood 66-27 on Saturday in the Madison County tournament. Burris is now 1-12. Junior Sydney Jackson scored 29 of the Owls' 34 points. Burris goes to 3-14 Greenwood Christian on Friday for a 6 o'clock game. That is the 5th place game in the Pioneer Conference. Taylor outscored Madison Grant 25-18 in the second half to beat the Argyles 47-41 at Madison Grant. It's the 4th win of the season for the Titans. They were led by 27 points from senior Jelena Harris. Senior Amelia Collins and Malia Smith scored 6 points apiece. Taylor's at 13-4 Clinton Central in a Hoosier Heartland game on Friday. Madison Grant drops to 4-14. They were led by freshman Grace Wood, who had a season-high 22 points. Senior Maddie Holloway added 6, as did sophomore Olivia Dunham. The Argyles host 7-10 Frankton in a CIC game Thursday. Lafayette Harrison snapped Kokomo's 3-game winning streak with a 51-46 road win Tuesday. Kokomo is now 13-6. They shot 36% from the field, just 5 of 22 from behind the three-point arc, and also had 15 turnovers in the loss. Senior Michaela Drake led the Wildcats with 21 points. Junior Amara Stroman had 9. Junior Eliana Stewart, 8 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 block shots. Kokomo is off until next Tuesday when they go to 2-15 Tipton. Harrison is now 6-13. They were led by a couple of A-nerts. Senior Elsie Ahnert had 22 points and 4 rebounds. Senior Ava Ahnert, 11 points, 4 assists, and 4 boards. Greenfield Central beat Anderson 78-38. Anderson is now 2-17 on the year and hosts 12-4 Jeff in an NCC contest on Saturday afternoon. Greenfield Central's 13-5 and has won 4 of its last 5 games. It's the Cougars' third straight season with at least 13 wins. Centerville beat Anderson Prep 61-28. The Jets fall to 10-7 on the year and are at 9-7 Park Tudor on Friday for the third place game in the Pioneer Conference. That game is scheduled for 6:30. Centerville is now 7-10. The semifinals are set for the Delaware County tournament. It will be Yorktown versus Delta and Daleville versus Wapahani on Tuesday. They're both rematches of really good games in November. Yorktown beat Delta 47-46 on November 26th, and Wapahani beat Daleville 48-40 on November 23rd. As I mentioned earlier, the 4 teams are a combined 48-16. Great year for basketball in Delaware County. Delta beat West Del 92-9 in the first round. Delta led 35-0 at the end of the first quarter and 56-2 at the half. The Eagles are now 11-4 and were led by Jillian Barnes 26, Griffin Knights 19, Elizabeth Bombadelli's 14, and Addison Barnes 11. All 4 of them are juniors. Westdell is now 0-16. Sophomore Caroline Kayward scored 7 of the team's 9 points. The Warriors are at 7-10 Centerville on Saturday for a 12:30 start. Daleville beat Cowan 55-25 at Yorktown. It's the 5th straight win for the Broncos, who are now 11-5. Sophomore Olivia Pratcher scored 15 points. Senior Giselle Johnson and junior Addison Gothrop scored 12 points apiece. For Cowan, which is now 3-13, sophomore Savannah Hall finished with 11. Senior Elizabeth Sizemore had 6. Senior Madison Norris and junior Delaney Gillespie scored 4 points apiece. The Blackhawks are at 10-6 Shenandoah on Tuesday. And the Central Indiana Sports Report player of the day is Mississinewa sophomore Ashlyn Baker, who scored 10 points and beat the buzzer to lift the Indians past Marion 43-42 on Tuesday. And now you know everything we know about Central Indiana girls basketball. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Yes, I'm talking to you. I need you to do me a huge favor. I know you've been thinking about someone who would enjoy the Central Indiana Sports Report. We need you to share it with them. We're growing fast, but we want to grow even faster, so that would be very helpful. Thank you. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. And I love Susie.